Hey y'all, real quick, I just wanted to come on and encourage you. Listen, I just wanted to share something with you real quick. You know, healing is a process. It really is. And it takes time to heal. You can go through the healing process and think that you're all good, right? You think, oh, I got through this, I'm good, everything is perfect, I'm fine. And then something comes up and it's like, whoa, I thought for sure I was healed from that. And then something triggers you and it brings you back to a place where you used to be. I want you to understand, just because you may have something that might trigger you and take you back to a place where you used to be doesn't mean that you're not healed. Okay? It is a process. It's a process. So listen. We think sometimes that we go through a healing and, God delivered us and that's it. We're done. We don't have to, experience any trauma from that situation anymore. But the reality is that sometimes, when you go through a deliverance or you go through the healing process of getting through, some things and working through your traumas, there are going to be moments when something might happen that'll trigger you and take you backwards. But the one thing that's important in this situation is you have to remain accountable to not only what's happening in the moment and what might be triggering you, and be accountable for yourself as well, right? Because what I found is that sometimes people like to blame other people for whatever happened to them, right? And they'll put the blame on somebody else and be like, oh, it's not my fault because this and that, or it's not my fault because so and so did this. And sometimes, yes, it may be someone else's fault sometimes, but sometimes, you got to take accountability for whatever action you had in the situation, okay? But I want to encourage you and I'm trying to do this in my car, y'all, but I want to encourage you, okay? Because healing is truly it's a process, baby. It's a process. And yes, you may have moments that trigger you. And yes, you may have to go back and regroup and figure out, okay, maybe I'm not so healed in this one area. Let me go back and do some work. And that's okay if you have to do work again. It's okay if you have to, readdress the situation and figure out, okay, what else do I need to heal from in this moment? And y'all forgive my hair, it's a hot mess because I just got off the plane. But listen, God sometimes will allow for you to find out, okay, that you thought you were healed and you weren't. Let me just share real quick a story with you because, okay, so this, and I'm talking about this because I experienced it myself, okay? And I thought I was good. I thought I was healed from, things that happened to me in my childhood, some of my, not all my parents, but one of my parents in particular, not necessarily being active in my life as a child, right? And so, yes, I dealt with some, issues surrounding that. And I went through a whole healing process, trauma healing process and all that, right? And I thought I was good. I thought I had forgiven and all the things, right? And then I had a conversation with this particular parent that was surrounding the whole, COVID situation. And anyway, we had a conversation, and that conversation triggered me because they were adamant about one specific thing, and I was dead on adamant that no, I'm not doing that because that's not what God told me, okay? And so that conversation, mind you, triggered me to go back to the way that I used to think about that parent, in a sense that it triggered me to go back to a place where I was not healed. And I believe that God allowed it to happen because he wanted to show me something. Because see, when I thought I was healed, okay, I truly wasn't fully healed. Yes, I might have been healed to a certain extent, but not fully. And so God had to show me, there's some more cleaning up needs to be done here. We need to clean up some more things in this area. In your heart, in your spirit, needs to be cleaned up in this area, because this is also part of what could be a stumbling block on the pathway to where I'm taking you. I hope I'm making sense. So here's the thing. Yes, we can go through a whole healing and trauma healing and all that stuff process, okay? And you know, and then something will happen that might trigger us, but the trigger isn't happening to make you think that, or to show you that you're not healed. It's showing you that there's some more things that need to be cleaned up here. It's showing you that there's still a little bit more healing that needs to be done. There's some areas that you thought you had healed and it wasn't. Y'all with me so far? Okay, I hope I'm making sense. Okay, so don't think that just because you had a trigger or something happened that resurface some of those old emotions and old ways it used to be, that you're not healed. It's just that there's some areas that need to be cleaned up a little bit more. And then you also need to take some accountability, okay, for your part in the situation in regard to you being re-triggered or whatever, right? So I want you to understand that healing is a process. It's a process. And it's going to take time. And it's okay if you are not, you know, fully there. But as long as you're taking steps to get there, you're going to be all right. You're going to be all right. You hear me? Okay. I just want you to remember, healing's a process. So don't be too hard on yourself, okay? All right. I love y'all. Y'all know I love you. Now, you go out and make it a great day on purpose, and don't you go mess up nobody else's day. But I want you to understand, healing is a process. Don't be too hard on yourself. It's a process, okay? And, you know, if something happens that triggers you, that's just a signal to let you know there's some more cleaning up you need to do in your spirit, in your heart, whatever, okay? All right. I love y'all. Just remember, healing's a process, and you're going to get through this. You're going to make it through this, and you're going to come out a champion, okay? All right, I love y'all. Now go make it a great day on purpose. Don't you go mess up nobody else's day, okay? All right, love y'all. Bye.